Hello guys, welcome back to another YouTube video with Tank Reaper here today. And we're doing the all new, all singing, all dancing French tanks in Cold War. Um well Kind of explain something real quick before we go ahead and get started with this video. I was meant to do this video last night. So now I had recorded the whole video, recorded all that last night. Uh but the downside was that how can I say this? Um, I recorded it and was going to copy it to my uh, USB. Well, I couldn't copy it because it was not. It was too big for the USB, so I couldn't get the video out for you guys last night. So yeah, but today is about the new French Cold War tanks. Now, I know you're probably thinking, "What this tank don't really look like it's too new, doesn't it?" No, it's kind of not. But the guns on this tank is sort of different than the World War II version, because the World War II one is the Tier 10 plus. There's also a Tier 9 version of it. But yeah, I know a lot of you probably already know that. Yeah, the French tanks has already been in the game in World War II, yes, and a couple premiums, like the three premiums we got, like the Ignore, which came out for the Warhammer 40,000 Ks event, plus the MX-30B2 Ford and the MX-13 SS11. But aside from those few, the tech tree is now finding out, meaning we are getting the Leclerc, which I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. If I'm not, please let me know in the comments down below. But yeah, we're going to take a look at all these French tanks. If you guys remember what I did for the Italian tank destroyers, we covered over the alpha damage, the penetration, and the armor of the vehicles. And we're going to do the same thing here for the French Cold War tanks, though I realize the video would be a little bit more longer due because of the armor and some of the other things about these tanks in Cold War. So we're going to start off with the first tank that starts out, the French Era 1. There is 3 Era 1 tanks for the French, 3 Era 2s, and 3 Era 3s. I know it's kind of confusing, isn't it? But the first one here is the Batchat 25T. I am not saying that full name. I tried last night, and yeah, I butchered it so badly, probably. But the stock gun on this vehicle, well, what's to say, it gets AP and I think heat. Hang on, let's go down here and check. APCR, heat, and HE. I said I tried doing this video last night. Some of these tanks are pretty confusing in the ammunition types. You'll probably realize it pretty much later on into the video. But this vehicle's standard stock APCR rounds of penetration is 198 meters penetration. The heat rounds gets you 320 meters penetration, and HE around 68. 240 for both AP and heat, and 320 for HE for the alpha damage. Now that's just the stock gun, the 90mm F3 gun. The rate of fire of the gun is 9.25 rounds per minute. Accuracy at 100 meters is 0.38. We've already said the damage, the alpha, and of course you get the APCR, heat, and HE, and ammo capability. The amount of ammunition you can carry on this vehicle is 54. It's, I think, 14 more rounds than the standard Batchat in World War II. I'll probably show you guys that version after we're done with this version. And then we get the upgrade gun, which is a 90mm F3V2 gun. The rate of fire is 9.73 rounds per minute. Accuracy at 100 meters is 0.36. Damage is 240, which is the same on the stock 90mm cannon. The penetration goes up just a little bit by 248, and you still get APCR, heat, and HE, and still can carry up to 54 rounds. Now, we'll show you guys the armor. Now, this is a Batchat, so the armor is probably not going to be like really, really good, but still, these things are pretty deadly because they do have a 6-shot auto load, which I will show you guys in a little bit here. Let's get right into it. So the first bit, we got 6 meter thickness of armor. Then we got 10 meter thickness of armor. 15, which is the tracks, which of course, like I've always say, the tracks do act like space armor, so shooting any like heat rounds, HE rounds, isn't really going to do much effect on those. So yeah, 20 meter thickness of armor, which is that spot up there, which I don't know if anybody's going to be shooting that or not. 25 meter thickness of armor, 30 meters of thickness of armor, which is the rear of the tank, and some of the sides too. 35, those little ears. 40 meters of thickness of armor, 45 meters of thickness of armor, 50, okay, 60, which is the upper plate, 70, and 100. And please tell me, where are you going to shoot at the Bat Chat? Like, I don't think you're going to be shooting near its turret ring at all. The most spots you're going to be shooting, and I'm going to use my mouse cursor here to show you guys. You're either going to be shooting this or mostly the upper plate if they're not having this upper plate angled. Or maybe you'll be shooting up here and around here because, it's a Bat Chat. All that armor we just said is not the best. Even in World War II, the regular Bat Chat is not the well armored vehicle, and this vehicle is not either. So, yeah, I don't think this thing is going to be crowd to be the best winning vehicle. Now, before we go and do more of it, I want to show you guys the Bat Chat in World War II before we go in comparisons of the Cold War, which right here, the original Bat Chat. I'm going to show you guys the types of guns this thing. Well, this first the stock gun because this thing does get a 100 mm SA-47 gun, which that is the stock gun for the vehicle. The upgraded gun is a 105, which the amount of rounds you get on the 105 is 40 rounds. Not sure about the 154. So the 54 gets the same amount of rounds as the 90, but the 105 does not. It gets 40. So do keep that in mind. You do get slightly more ammunition on the brand spanking, all singing, all dancing French Bat Chat, which is not really that new, isn't it? It's just basically a copy and paste vehicle brought over to World War II. So yeah. Now, no, that's not what I want. I want to go over here and go check out the next tank, which is the Orlan 40T, because again, I am not saying that whole name. There is no way of me trying to say that name. But the Orlan 40T is again another copied and paste vehicle again, which I really don't care, because after this, you do start seeing a little bit more other copy and paste in sort of a way. And I'm going to be showing you guys in a little bit. But this tank is the Orlan. First of all, the ammunition this thing does get. No. It gets APCR and heat and HE as its ammunition types. This is with the stock gun, and this gun is, I think it said 90 mil. So you still get that 90 mil. The penetration for both your APCR is 248, and for your heat is 320. HE is 68 meters penetration. Damage is 240 for both your APCR and your heat, and 320 for your HE. Let's go over here and talk about the gun. Now, the gun is the 90mm F3 gun. The rate of fire is 9.57 rounds per minute. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.34. We've already talked about the damage and the pen. Of course, we already talked about the rounds you get. You get 60 rounds in this vehicle, which kind of makes sense. It's a sort of a bigger vehicle than the Bat Chat. Now let's go over to the upgraded section. The upgraded gun is a 100mm SA-47 gun. The rate of fire is 7.89 rounds per minute. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.36. 0.36. The damage is 300, penetration 242, and you still get the APCR, but actually you get for both as standard rounds and premium rounds, along with HE. This time you're going from, I think it was 60 rounds to 54 rounds now. But before we go ahead and go to the next tank for the French as well in Cold War, I'm gonna show you guys the World War II version as well. That's why I said it's basically another copied and paste vehicle. Now this one, you really don't have to get it in World War II. In Cold War, you really do have to get it to go forward through the tech tree. What I mean is that you unlock the AMX 5100, which it was a heavy, which now it's a medium, and you go either straight for the MX 5120 or the Loring 40T. And the Loring 40T here has a 100mm SA-47 gun, which is the upgrade gun on the Cold War one. And no, that's not what I want. But it doesn't get no other gun selections. So in the same battle, this vehicle only gets one gun in World War II. It's the same vehicle, it's the same armor. Maybe a few stats about it is slightly different, but aside from that, no, that's not what I want. I'm messing up right there. Um, there's not really too much huge of differences. Now let's go over the armor of this vehicle. Now this is still a French vehicle and it is a medium tank, and you could be right about this pike nose right here. If you turn the vehicle this way, people are going to make this easier to be penetrated on, which would be Russian tanks. So most Russian tanks will face their armor straight forward at you like that. But because this is a French vehicle, I don't know if the armor really works like that or not. It could, but still, if it does work like this, there is still a major weak spot, which is this bit right here. This bit right here is the major weak spot because even on the IS-3 and the IS-7, if somebody is taller than you or aiming at this spot, they're just going to pin. Even if you do hide the little plate, they still can aim for that spot and pin the vehicle pretty easily. But let's go over the armor of this vehicle real quick. We got 6 meter thickness, which I didn't think these things right here would be actually like a hitbox. I don't know if they are. Gotta test it out. 10 meter thickness, which is looks like the driver's port. 20 meter thickness, which is the bits right there on the turret and the tracks. 25 meter thickness. We got 30 meter thickness. 40 meters of thickness of armor. Okay. And 45 meters of thickness. Which again, I mean, like I said, this is a French vehicle, so I'm not sure if this armor is going to bounce a lot. It might bounce some things, yeah, probably. But I mean, it's a good vehicle. Let's just say that much. I do like how it looks, and because in Cold War here, it does get two selections of guns, unlike the World War II version, so that makes it even much more better. Now we're moving into a territory. It's an easier way to say the names, the AMX 30A. This vehicle is pretty decent. I mean, the armor is probably, again, not the best. It's probably not until you get to the higher tiers where the armor is going to be slightly a little bit more better. But still, at the same time, there is another one in World War II as well. It's called MX-30 prototype or first prototype. It looks exactly like this one, so I'm guessing this is the same model as the one in World War II, which I will show you guys both the two in World War II of the MX-30, so no worries about that. First of all, well, actually, what type of ammunition this thing gets? It gets APCR, APCR again, and HE for its stock gun. The stock gun, which is meaning the penetration for both the APCR is 200 and, well, the standard APCR is 242 meters of penetration. The premium APCR is 276 meters of penetration, and HE is 50 meters of penetration. Damage, alpha damage for both the APCRs, both the premium and standard, is 300 meters of 300 damage, alpha damage. I'm sorry for that, guys. And this is a single shot. I forgot to show you guys that. I will show you guys after this this review of this vehicle. And then the HE gets 400 damage. The gun you get for the standard stock gun is a 100mm SA-47 gun, which, yes, is the upgrade gun on the Lorraine 40T. The rate of fire is 8.33. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.35. We already talked about the damage and the penetration. And guess you get APCR for both standard rounds and premium and HE, and you can carry up to 50 rounds. Now let's talk about the upgrade gun, which is slightly a little bit better, because it only gets 2 rounds, heat and HE. Which last night this was real shocking to me because of this tank. The rate of fire of this gun, which actually this gun is the 105 mm CN105 F1 gun. The rate of fire is 6.25. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.32. Damage is 390. Penetration 320. You can carry up to 47 rounds with this gun. So yeah. Now let's talk about the armor. And again, I gotta say probably the most thickest armor on this tank is gonna be right here in the gun barrel. Just right in that spot right there. That's where the most thickness of the armor is going to be. But let's talk about it. We get 6 meters of thickness of armor, 15 meters of thickness of armor, around 20 meters of thickness, which is these bits here, 30 meters of thickness of armor, around 40 meters thickness of armor, 50 meters thickness of armor, which I don't get these bits right here around the gun right here, but I don't know if that's truly accurate, but I really don't want to know 100% true about that. We got 55 meters thickness of armor. Now, I will let you guys know that this tank is a little bit weird because in these 3 bits right here are actually separate armor plates. I don't know if on the original MX-30 prototype it is actually the same. So yeah. Then we have 60 meters thickness of armor, which as you see right there's part of it. 75 and 80, which this part right here is the most, where you get 75 and then 60. So that is pretty weird that how that is, and the cheeks right there as well. We got 120, which is the bottom right there, 150, 200, which is the gun mantlet, and 245. Yeah, that's kind of a little bit weird where the armor is. Now, before we go on to talk about the remaining French tanks in Cold War, I'll show you guys the World War II tank as well. I'm just comparing these tanks towards each other because right here is the MX-30 prototype. First prototype, I should say. And modifications, it looks like it gets the same gun, but it gets 3 rounds of ammunition for this gun. Let's see about the other gun. 3 rounds of round for that gun as well, and the armor, yeah, slightly a little bit different, but yeah. We're not here to talk about that tank in depth. That's why I'm not going in full depth about it. So that's the end of the Era 1 tanks. And now let's go look at the next tank. Now this tank does get 2 guns, so do keep that in mind. You get the main caliber gun, plus the auto cannon, which is the same thing as the MX-30 B2 Ford, which is the Era 2 Premium. But yeah, let's look at the rounds the standard stock gun gets. The standard stock gun gets a heat. Oops. Actually, let's go over here. Heat and HE. And, oh, sorry for that, guys, about my dog barking. I don't know what he's barking at, but, yeah. Shh, scope. I guess he just wanted to talk in the video as well. So yeah. He wants to say hello to everybody on YouTube. Ain't that right, Skusco? Yep. You get the 20 meter, which gets APDS and HE. So yeah. Oh, my bad. My bad. By standard of penetration of your standard heat rounds, you get 400 meters of penetration. And your HE, wait, was that HE again? I totally forgot because it was scope. Heat and HE, yes, okay, okay. So yeah, your HE gets 105 meters of penetration. That's pretty good, actually. Damage, your alpha damage is 460 for your heat and 570 for your HE. Now, let's talk about the remaining sets of this large caliber gun. Well, it's not that large, isn't it? It's a 105 mm CN 105 F1 gun, which I don't know what he's barking. Hang on, guys, real quick. Sorry for that, guys. Not sure what he was barking at. I guess he wanted to go outside with pie, so that's where I took him. Um, so where were we? um, yeah. The gun we got here is the 105 mm CN 105 F1 gun. The rate of fire of this gun is 7.23 rounds per minute. Accuracy 100 meters is 0.30. We talked about the damage and the penetration. Of course, you get heat and HE, and ammo capacity is 55 rounds. Now let's talk about the other gun you get, which is the 20mm Gayat M693 F2, which is the autocannon. The rate of fire is 215.11 rounds. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.22. Damage is 25, but that does seem like a low. Penetration 87, again, very low with the penetration and the damage. But in a way, it doesn't really matter of what that is, because these guns are fast auto cannons that could rip right through you pretty easily. You get 1,050 rounds, so pretty decent, right? Yeah. Now let's talk about the next gun, which is the upgraded gun. It is a 105mm CN 105 F1V2 gun. You don't get a second autocannon, so do keep that in mind. The rate of fire is 7.41 rounds per minute. Accuracy 100 meters is 0.28. Damage, alpha damage is 460. Penetration is 400. And again, you still get that heat and HE rounds, and you can carry up to 55 rounds. Now let's talk about the armor of this vehicle. Well, yep, it's a little bit more different than the previous tanks. So yeah, let's talk about it. We got 3 meters of thickness of armor, 6 meters thickness of armor, 10 meters thickness of armor, and we got also 15 meters of thickness of armor in these plates, 20. Which actually, I'm surprised that this thing is right here is 20. But I mean, it probably should be, maybe, after all. We got 30, 35 meters thickness of armor. I'm sure just get the mouse out of the way. We got 40 meters thickness of armor, 45 meters thickness of armor, which is the forehead, 50 meters thickness of armor, 55, around 57, which is actually looks like something like I don't know how would you want to say that, because it looks like there's stuff in front of these little plates right here. Yeah. So I wonder how these are going to work. I mean, that's really matter if you hit them right there or not, because upper plate, lower plate. I mean, it's an MX30. So yeah, 60 meters thickness of armor, 70, 80, 100. I mean, I guess you could say the boat could be 100. 120, 150, 240, which is the gun mountlet, and 300. Again, 300 in this bit right here. I'm really surprised about that bit being 300, but still pretty freaking difference. Now that's the MX30B66. That is the first of the era. Two tanks. Let's go to the next tank, which is the MX30B2. There's a decent amount of MX30s in this game, guys. There is definitely the MX30 first prototype, the MX30, which is in World War II. Then we got the MX30A. Then we got the MX30B 66 and the MX30B2, with also the MX30B2 Ford, and then also one other MX30. So altogether, that's a good bit of MX30s in this game, isn't it? Yeah. Now this tank, let's see how much of ammunition does this tank get. We get heat and APFS DS with also HE. So your heat rounds are actually your stock rounds in this tank. So let's talk about the penetration of the gun. Standard rate of your heat rounds, you get 400 meters of penetration. Your APFSDS rounds are 482 meters of penetration, and your HE gets around 115. Pretty decent, actually, for the HE. Your alpha damage is 460 for both your heat and APFSDS rounds, and 570 for your HE. Now, let's talk about remaining stats of the gun. The rate of fire, which I probably should say what type of gun it is, it's no counter to what the gun is right at this point. It's a 105 mm CN 105 F1 gun. The rate of fire is 7.69 rounds per minute. Accuracy 100 meters is 0.26. We've already talked about the damage and the penetration and the rounds it gets, and you can carry up to 50 rounds. Now, you remember, you still get that autocannon. You stop getting that autocannon to the last of the tanks in this line, which is the Leclerc. But you get the 20mm Gayat M693F2 gun. The rate of fire is 215.11. Accuracy at 100 meters is 0.22. Damage is 25. Penetration is 87. And again, you get APDS and HE. Get 1,050 rounds this gun. So yeah. Now let's talk about the upgraded gun, which is not much more differences than the stock gun, but it's a 105mm CN 105 F1 V2 gun. You guys are probably starting to see where it was making me rage, not rage, but pull my hair out last night when I was trying to do this video, and why it took so long. Uh, but rate of fire is 7.89 rounds per minute. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.26. Damage is 460. Penetration 400. You get heat again as your standard round, and your APFSDS rounds is premium rounds, and your HE rounds. You get 50 rounds in this gun for this gun. And now let's talk about the armor. Again, all these things are going to probably somewhat share most of the armor layouts the same, but I think it's pretty much something you should know about the armor at least for these tanks. So we get 3 meters of thickness of armor in these spots. 6, which actually, when I first did this last night, I was surprised that these bits right here were actually counted into it as armor. But yeah, there you go. 10 meters thickness, which is these bits. 15, 20, which looks like you get one extra little box thingy right here. 30, 35, 40, 45, which is the forehead of the tank. 50, 55, 57, 70 millimeters thickness. There's 80, 90, which is, again, a bit right there. I don't get that, but I don't know. You get 100, again, 120, 150, which is, well, it looks like around the gun mallet, or outside of the gun mallet. 170, which this also got me. This little bit right here and this bit right here is 170 meters thickness of armor. I really don't get that. Let's just hide the maximum right here for now. You would think it would be more of the gun mallet, but I guess not. You get 180, which, where is it? Oh wait, I see. Right there it is. Okay. 270, which is the gun mallet itself, and 330, which this also surprised me. Throughout these tanks, the most thickest armor, 330 or whatever the other ones have, is inside the gun, right here. I mean, basically, if someone hits that, they're just going to hit the gun and just damages the gun. So, why is it there? Why is that armor there for? I mean, doesn't really matter. I don't think it does matter in the long term, but that is the MX30B2. Go backwards. Now, we're looking at the last of the Era 2 tanks, the MX-30B2 Brianos. I'm hoping I'm saying that name right. But as you can see on this tank, it's slightly different. It has ERA plates on its turret, and its hull not on the sides, but it does have right here, up here, and over here, and in the front of the hull. Um, Really good because this will should help you stop some sheep charge ammunition, which means ATJMs and stuff like that. Probably won't hurt as badly if they hit you. Hopefully, I mean, I'm not really going to say yes, it's not going to hurt, but definitely. Now, the rounds on this tank, let's go check because you get heat, APFSDS, and HE rounds. Okay. And again, you get the secondary gun, which gets heat and APFSDS. Right, that's the stock 105. The 20 mm ultra gun is the got APDS and HE. But let's look at the major things about the gun. Your standard heat rounds gets 400 meters of penetration. APFS DS rounds gets 482, and your HE gets 125. As you can see, the HE looks like it's getting a little more penetration, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Damage, the alpha damage is 460 for both your heat and your APFS DS rounds, and 570 for your HE. Okay. Now let's talk about the gun itself. The rate of fire, which again I keep on forgetting doing this, it's a 105 mm CN 105 F1 gun. The rate of fire is 7.50. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.26. We've already said about the damage and penetration, and we already talked about the rounds it gets: heat, APFS, DS, and HE. You can carry up to 50 rounds. And let's talk about this gun, the 20 mm Gyat M693F2 gun. The rate of fire is 215.11 rounds per minute. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.22. Damage 25. Penetration 87. You get 1,050 rounds. Again, the damage and the penetration does not seem like it's really too much for this gun. But to be honest, if you can get to the sides of a heavy armed tank, that 87 damage, yes, does not sound like it's. I mean, 25 damage. Sorry, the 25 damage don't seem like it's something really that great. But in the long terms, it's definitely worth having because that 25 damage is really decent in the long term. For real, it is. Uh, but that's what that is. Now, let's talk about the upgraded gun, which it looks like you get the upgraded gun after you unlock, which tank is that? The MX-32. So, what's this gun? Well, it's a 105mm CN 105 F1V2 gun. So, from the beginning of, was it? Yeah, beginning of Era 2, you get the 105. I think even the MX-30A gets it. Don't remember. I know I just did it, but I just don't remember it too right off the bat. But yes, we get another 105. The rate of fire is 7.69 rounds per minute. Accuracy on 100 meters is 0.24. Damage, well, is 460. Penetration, 400. And you get heat, APFS DS, and HE rounds. And you can carry up to 50 rounds. Now, let's talk about the armor. On this thing, don't forget you have that ERA plates of armor, so it does protect you. But all the other armor bits, there's some other more armor bits on this thing than the original other two MX-30s, but some of it is in some of the same spaces. So yeah, we got 3 meters thickness, 6 meters thickness, which is these little boxes back here. We got 10, which is all these highlighted spots, which acts like space armor. So yeah, we got 15, 20, 30, 35, 40, 45 meter thickness, which is against the forehead, but again, that's also protected with ERA plates. If you remember me showing you that. Then we got 46, which is the ERA plates themselves. So as you can see, they're on the sides of the turret, the front of the turret, and the front of the hull, and that's basically all where they're at. Then we get 50 meter thickness, 55, 57, 70, 80. Oh, and one more thing too. Where do you want to guess where the most thickness of armor is out on this thing too, guys? Come on, take your wild guess before we get done. We got 90, around 100. Again, these different spots. 120, which is also protected with the ERA. 150. So 170, which again, I just don't get this small bit right here. I mean, it's basically protected with ERA plates of armor because as you can see, it's kind of right in here, which I think that's where the ERA plates are at. And we get 180, which is right there. 190, where is this at? Oh, I see it right there. Yeah, you could barely see it, but if I could point it out with the mouse, right in there. As you can see that. If you could see that, let me know. But when I first did this, I couldn't really see it that right away, but that is a very small bit. And 190, huh? 270, which is, well, the gun bantlet. And then 330, which is, again, it's the spot right here. I just don't get that, but whatever. If you want to put your armor right there, that's fine with me. But as you can see, you got ERA all over the front right here, all the way up to right here, then ERA right here, up here, to the sides of the turret, and even over here, you got a little bit right in here, right up there, right here, and even over here on this side of the turret as well. So this thing is covered with ERA plates of armor, which makes it a little bit more better protected against mostly sheep charge ammunition. That's what ERA plates were made for. But yeah, that is the MX-30B2 Benios. Now let's talk about the MX-32. I was gonna call it the MX-30. Yeah, I was going to call it that. I don't know why. But this is the next model of the French main battle tanks. And unlike the previous ones, this one's got slightly different ammunition for its stock in rounds and its premium rounds. For your standard rounds, you get APFS-DS and around your premium APFS-DS again. And for your other round, it's a heat. That's right. And again, you still get that autocannon, so do keep in mind it. That autocannon is still there. But let's talk about the penetration of the gun. But the standard APFS-DS rounds, you get 526 meters penetration. The premium version of the APFS-DS, 633, and heat, you get 600. Damage is 520 for both the standard APFS-DS and the premium ones. 520 for your heat, and that's that. Now let's talk about the gun. You actually get a slightly more better gun. It's the 120mm CN 120-25 G1 gun, which is the smoothball barreled. It is the smoothball barreled 120 gun, which is a decent gun in real life, used by a lot of allied nations. So yeah, the rate of fire is 9.68. Accuracy 800 meters, 100 meters, 0.26. Is that what I said? Yes. As you can see, it's on screen anyway. So, damage is 520. Penetration, I already said that. You already saw that tank. But the amount of rounds you can carry is 50 rounds. Now, let's talk about this gun. The 20mm Gigant M693 gun F2, which is actually the gun that's been on every single one of these tanks so forth. The rate of fire, though, so being 215, is 251.12 rounds per minute. Accuracy 100 meters is 0.20. Damage is 25. Penetration 87. You get the APDS round in HE, and max rounds you get in the vehicle, the gun, is 1,050. Again, that 25 damage doesn't seem like a lot, but like I said, if you can shoot at something that is lightly armored, like a light tank or something like that, um, your rounds are just probably going to really pin them pretty decent. It, just the rate of fire of this gun though is pretty good, and that's the big thing about this auto cannon. Nothing more than just the damage. I mean, the damage don't seem the best, but if you're constantly hitting them with that gun while your main gun is reloading, they don't have much of a really big chance. Um, but I would like to use this gun at the rear of a heavy armored tank. But let's talk about the last of the guns for this vehicle, and then the armor afterwards. We get another 120mm CN 125 G1 V2 gun. The rate of fire is 10.17 rounds per minute. Accuracy 100 meters is 0.21. The alpha damage is 520 and penetration 526. Uh, the rounds you get is the APFSDS for both the standard stock rounds and the premium rounds, and you get heat as your last round. You can carry up to 15 rounds with this gun as well. So yeah. Then let's talk about the armor about this vehicle, and well, guys, after this, well, we only have two more vehicles to do in this era 3. Yeah. We got 3 meter thickness, which is the same bit of on the MX-30s. As you can see, 5 meter thickness, which is this little bit up here. 6 meter thickness. Okay. 10. 15. Alright. Not bad. 20. Which, I mean, I wonder if this is actually a hitbox. I mean, it's designated as armor, so I'm guessing it is a hitbox. Uh, if this thing is not even sure its turret and stuff, it's just peeking over a ridge like this, with this thing, with this really little R2 thing, I guess you could call it. You could probably just go ahead, if you have the accuracy to hit this. Uh, if you do hit and then do some damage, well, yeah, that's gonna be pretty much something to look at. 25 meter thickness, 30, 35 meter thickness, 40 meter thickness, 45 meter thickness, which is sides and the sides, yeah, looks like also up there too. 50 meter thickness, 57, 60, which is that little bit right there, which is where the auto cannon is. We got 80, which is the lower plate. 100, which is the rear of the commander's port. 130. Where is this at? Over there. Very hard to see, isn't it? 150, which is the turret ring. 190, where is it? I don't see it. Am I blind? 150, not 150, 190. Oh, wait, I think I see it. Okay, I'm gonna show you this. That's why the other guys with the mouse. Right in here. Yeah, that's a very hard spot to see, and nobody's not gonna be shooting that. There's no way. Yeah, there's no way anybody is gonna be shooting it frontally. There's, you can't even get to that. So why even put that in the model of the vehicle? I don't know, but it's there, I guess. And yeah, it's a very small bit of a piece of armor where most people is not going to be shooting at this tank. So let's go out and let's go to the next tank, which is the MX-40. Now, when I seen this thing, I thought it was just another MX-32, but it's just an upgraded model of the MX-32. But it looks like a little bit more armor, especially in the front ring here. You're going to be seeing the armor model here soon once I do it, but it does look like a nice tank to have. Now, this tank, again, gets the APFSDS rounds for both the standard and premium, and heat rounds as well, or the HE would be. So let's get right into the penetration. Standardly, the standard APFSD rounds, it gets 526 round meters of penetration, and this premium APFSDS rounds gets 633 meters of penetration. Heat gets 600 meters of penetration. The damage, the alpha damage, is 520 for both the premium and standard APFSDS rounds, and 520 even for the heat. So all through the board, you get 520. So that's really matter which round you pick. Not too much, unless if you're looking for more penetration, then your premium APFSDS rounds are probably going to be for you. But it does the same damage as the heat and AP, the standard APFSDS rounds. Yeah, trust me, it's kind of awkward, but yeah, it is what it is. Again, you get the 120mm CN 120-25 G1 gun. The rate of fire is 10 rounds per minute. Yeah, 10 rounds per minute. Wow. Accuracy at 100 meters is 0.23. We already said about the damage and the penetration and the rounds it has. It can carry up to 55 rounds though. And it still gets that 20mm Yacht M693 F2 gun. The rate of fire is 251.12 rounds per minute. Accuracy at 100 meters is 0.20. Damage is 25. Penetration is 87. And you can have APDS and HE rounds for this gun. Get 1,050 rounds in this vehicle as well. Now let's go talk about the upgrade gun, which is another 120mm CN 120-25 G1 V2 gun. The rate of fire is 10.53 rounds per minute. Accuracy at 100 meters is 0.19. Damage is 520. Penetration 526. And again, you get the APFS DS rounds for both standard and premium. And heat as where HE is supposed to be. You can carry up to 55 rounds with this gun. And now let's talk about the armor. And yeah, this was sort of interesting because of that green bit where I showed you on the front of the tank, which right here is an extra bit of armor gets put into the tank. So let's get right into it. We got 5 meters thickness, which is the engine deck, the roof of the engine deck. 6 meters thickness, 10 meters thickness, which I'm surprised that they modeled that inside the vehicle as armor right here, because that's inside the tank. So I'm not sure why they did that, but okay. We got 15, 20. Okay. Again, if this thing pokes over a ridge there, guys, and if your gun is accurate enough to shoot this little R2 thing, um, you could probably definitely do some damage without it even showing itself to you. That's something to keep in mind, though. We got 25 meters thickness. We got 30 as well. 35, 40, 45, 50. Wait, yeah, that's a weird bit right there to have this armor up, but I guess in a way it's alright. I mean, most people is probably not gonna be shooting that again. They're probably gonna be shooting elsewhere because if you honestly think somebody's just gonna shoot there, it's almost like the what that vehicle called, the mercenaries, the tier 10 heavy tank, the machine. Yeah, the machine. It has pretty weak armor on its sides as well. But you know, whatever. We got 60, 80, 85, which is the gun mantlet, or behind the gun mantlet, as you can see right there. 90. Which, well, like I said, this thing has some more rear armor layout, doesn't it? 100, which, if you look at it, it's right behind this, like, big bulge bit right here. It's right behind that. So you gotta get past this to get past this, which is 100. Which I'll be showing you guys what that is. And then you got 150, which is the turret ring in front of the cupola. 200, which is up there. and 230. So to be honest, you gotta get through 230 and then 100. So that's roughly 330 meters of thickness of armor you got to get past. Now, I'm not trying to say that no tank at this tier doesn't have that amount of penetration, but still, yeah, you gotta get through all that. And then we got 360, which is the side parts of that extra armor, as you can see here. I'm not sure why they decided to put that much armor on the side of it, but I guess this case if you shoot right here, you gotta go right through the tracks and then go right through that just a little bit. It looks like, yeah, because if you're looking at the side right here, if you aim down here, you're not going to do anything. But if you aim up here, you gotta go through the tracks and then that 360 of armor. That's yeah, something to be interested with, I guess. And now, guys, what you guys have been waiting for, the Leclerc, the last Era 3 tank in the Cold War for the French, and is the last tank in this lineup. I'm pretty excited though I don't really have much of way of the Tech Tree tanks unlocked. I'm trying my way up there, but it's a slow process. Um, First of all, but here's the gun. We get APFSDS for both standard and premium rounds, and we get heat, as where our HE rounds are supposed to be at. So let's talk about the penetration, the damage, and go ahead and talk about the upgraded gun. There is one thing though you probably have recognized when I went into that menu, is that this vehicle does not get that 20-meter autocannon. It does not get it, so meaning this is the only tank. Well, I mean, the size the three of the Era 1 tanks do not get it either. But from Era 2 all the way up to the MX40 does get the auto cannon. So do keep that in mind if you're used to using the auto cannon on the other few tanks, and you get to this tier, and you're like, "Where's the auto cannon?" Well, it does not get it. So do keep that in mind. So the standard APFSD rounds get 633 meters penetration. Your premium versions of those rounds get 700, not 70, 700 meters of penetration, and your heat rounds get 600. Alpha damage is 550 for both your APFSDS, the premium and standard, and 520 for your heat rounds. So yeah, that's that. Now let's talk about the main gun, which is the 120mm CN 120 26 F1 gun. The rate of fire is 8.22 rounds per minute. Accuracy 100 meters is 0.26. We already talked about the damage and the penetration and the different rounds it carries, or it has. And the amount of rounds you can carry with this vehicle is 65 rounds with this gun, which is the stock gun, which you do get a upgraded gun, which is a 120mm CN 120 26 F1 V2 gun. The rate of fire is 8.57 rounds per minute. Accuracy 100 meters is 0.24. Damage is 550. Penetration 633. And again, you get the APFSDS rounds for both your standard and your premium rounds. And you can also get the heat rounds, as where HE is supposed to be. You can carry up to 65 rounds for this vehicle as well. And let's go to the armor. Now, as what you have seen, this tank does have some red spots, meaning it does have pretty good armor, but it also has the protection of space armor. So, yeah, better protection than the previous tanks has. So, yeah, don't know how it's gonna work, but maybe if you guys already have it, because I bet some people has either already got their hands on this tank, because either some people was like use free XP probably to get this, or something like that. Like there's veteran players that already either got everything unlocked at World War II and previous other Cold War tanks, or some of the other YouTubers that has been playing these vehicles as well, or World War Tanks console. But let's take a look at the armor and stuff like that. We got 6-meter thickness, which is these bits right here. 10-meter thickness. We got 20, which is these bits, which looks like, yeah. This thing does have a good bit of armor, though. We got 25, which is that little thing, which I'm not sure if this is going to be the same way as the previous two, the MX40 and the MX32. If you before you even show your turret or your hull, people's going to see this and shoot because 25 meters of thickness of armor is not a lot. So yeah, not sure how that's going to work. Then we got 30 meters thickness, 35 meters thickness, 40 meters thickness, 45 meters of thickness, 50, which is the gun and the other areas, 60 meters of thickness of armor, 70 meters of thickness of armor, 80, 100, which is the gun right there, 101, which is the turret ring, which I think that's the turret ring. Yeah. 130, which is those two bits right there. 150, which is back of the turret, or the turret ring. 190. Yeah. 200, which is the upper plate. 240. 280. 290. 300, which I don't get that right there. I really don't. I seen this last night and I just don't get it. Why is that even there? I have one clue why it's there, and I'm gonna be showing you guys what I mean as that clue. So let's go on. We got 320, 340, 350, 370, 410 meters thickness, which is that bit right there, which is, I think, the gun meant bit. We got 520, which is that bit, which doesn't make sense for it, but oh well. 550, and then 570, which right here and right here. Yeah, that's a good bit of armor, either spot. But like I was saying, that one bit of armor, where is it? This bit. The reason why I think that's there, and let's go over to modifications. Now, if you want to know how to hit this tank hard, and I think, like I said, I think the why that thing is there is because where the ammunition's at. You got ammunition back of the turret back here, as you can see, but then you also have it right here. I think it's protecting the driver from the ammunition. So if you do hit the ammunition by aiming down right here, if you aim right down right here, you can actually hit the ammunition and have it where it's, if you hit it again, it will detonate and stuff. Ammo racket, just complete ammo racket. The driver will be sitting over here, so yeah, that's basically what that's for, is to protect the driver. So meaning it is in a protective shell and stuff, but you do want to hit right here if you want ammo racket. I mean, if you're aiming at the rear of the turret, aim back in here. This is where you want to aim at, because you're going to ammo racket either if you're hitting it in the front or right here. Those are the two spots you really want to be hitting this thing. If you do see this thing on the battlefield, which I bet you're probably going to see a good bit of them on the battlefield by now. But yeah, this is how you want to say the French tanks, and basically in a nutshell. I really am excited for them, and with the Leclerc Series 1, so does that really mean that there's going to be more Leclercs? I really don't know. But definitely, I'm surprised. I am very surprised of these tanks. And like I said, I tried doing this video last night, but it was just too long for my USB to download, which right now it's up to 39 minutes. Don't know why it seems like it's shorter on the PC here, but definitely, as you can see, I'm definitely recording this on PC. I just wanted to make sure I get this video out to you guys. I know it's probably a day late because these vehicles came out last night, but definitely pretty excited to play through these vehicles. I'm going to see if I can, you know, maybe try to get some out and then get some actual, tank reviews of these vehicles going. Yeah, I mean, we got still a good bit of the other vehicles from World War II to do, but you know, there's a lot of content coming out there, guys, and yeah, I guess that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Um, you know, this was a pretty decent video for me to do. Like I said, I tried it last night, but yeah, I really have fun of actually doing these type of videos. So whenever there's going to be another tech tree line for either World War II or Cold War comes out, this is what we're going to do for the full line, so you can get the taste of the line before you start grinding. So you maybe some things about the vehicles and stuff. But yeah, I really do think it's a nice line. A new French tanks, especially Leclerc. I think that's why there's so many people wanting to get this tank. It's the French main battle tank, which is still in service for the French military. So yeah, um, that's probably gonna be it there for this video, guys. I know we already said that, but I just wanted to let you guys know about what I think about it. And there we go. We got everything done. But this is the last time I'm gonna say it. This is gonna be it. I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to. And like always, I'll catch you guys on the next one. Bye for now.